So I've got a lot of tidying up to do at the moment. I'm really going through my house, and every square inch is being sorted out and organized. Again, I don't know why I'm doing that. It needs doing, but it's become something that is really it's urgent. I have to do it now, and it's important, and to some extent it's preparing for my move. Everything has to be sorted out and in its proper place. Things that have to be thrown out need to be thrown out. Things that must be kept need to be organized so that they can be found. And I've spent probably the past 2 years just letting everything slide a little bit as I've dealt with various issues that I've been struggling with, um, addictions and trapped attention, particularly the matter of the witch, of course, which sent me, which suspended me, I suppose, for about a year and a half. That's the trouble, that's the risk of those things. Although it was valuable, very valuable, but sometimes we do need to make sure we're not snagged by something that's going to um, distract us, to tear our attention away from the world and from the spirit, and we find ourselves in the backwater and no progress can be made. And this is something of my recent interest in my various addictions. I made a video recently, probably inaudible, where I said that I'd decided to drink whiskey and smoke a pipe and various other things and give in to my lusts, I suppose you might call them. And it's brought up a whole load of addictions as I've started to go down this particular path. And it's strengthened in me a resolve to deal with them efficiently, um, and not necessarily eliminate them, but to decide. And my addictions, I suppose, I drink a lot of coffee, and that's probably upsetting my progress on this carnivore diet. And so yesterday, really, I started limiting my coffee quite strictly, and I think I only had 2 coffees yesterday, and I think I might have just 2 or 3 perhaps today. Whereas normally, although it's decaffeinated, I get through to the evening and I've drunk about 8 coffees. And somebody's pointed out, or I read somewhere, that coffee is not a very clean food. There's a lot of pesticides in it, and so regardless of caffeine and the fact that it is a plant, it also has this added um, negative aspect, disadvantage. So I've got some organic coffee which arrived this morning, and so if I have another coffee today, it'll be an organic one. And then there's a whole load of other things. I've been chewing Nicorette for about oh, at least at 6 or 8 months. I just decided on an off chance to buy some Nicorette gum, which I used to chew when I was trying to give up smoking, and I just carried on using it. And then I stopped, and I didn't use it for about 4 or 5 years because I no longer smoked and just didn't feel the need for it. But I enjoyed chewing the gum. I thought it was good for my teeth, and it seemed to it just had a calming effect on me, and so I've enjoyed um, being addicted to Nicorette for a while. But maybe the time has come that I no longer need it. I'm just looking at all these aspects of my life and deciding, as it were, which ones to keep and which ones to remove, assuming, perhaps optimistically, that I have control over them. But I think I do have a measure of control. Understanding is always the key in these things, isn't it? That's a guitar up at the end of the workshop there, which belongs to a neighbour of mine, and it's in very bad condition. It's a classical guitar which had steel strings on it, and it's warped. And I've accepted the job of trying to fix it up. I was told they only want to hang it on the wall, really, but I think we can do better than that and at least make it playable. So that's a project for the next few days. I'm still working on the Stratocaster. It needs a new nut, and the truss rod needs to be adjusted again. Adjusting truss rods is something that needs to be done slowly, because the guitars tend to respond slowly to truss rod adjustments. I find as the wood, I suppose it has a certain amount of inertia, and so this is a guitar that hasn't had strings on it for quite a long time, and I've tightened up the truss rod quite a bit to try to straighten the neck, and I've strung it. So I suppose the neck will move a little bit, and I plan to bring it up to the workshop this morning and see exactly where we are, and then perhaps do some more adjustments of the truss rod and fit a nut. Now, I've got a bone nut, and I've also bought a brass adjustable nut, which would be very convenient if it works. So I'll try the brass one. If it doesn't work, I'll have to cut a bone nut, and that's quite a delicate operation. I did buy a bone nut that they said it was suitable for a Stratocaster, but still it will need to be cut to size, and perhaps the string grooves will have to be cut in it, and I've got the tools to do that if and when I can lay my hands on them. And so it is. Things get lost. God bless this morning.